I so hate to interrupt that, but oh, so good. So good. Well, welcome back! So, as I said yesterday, I want to try very hard to keep going at what I was doing in 14 here. And in order for me to do that, we need to, of course, do the things. So, we're here with everybody, and we're back talking with Gaia. So let's say hi and figure out what's going on. So you don't remember anything at all? Not attacking us, not falling unconscious? She's got weird lips. I'm not sure I'm a big fan of her model. Such selective amnesia would really raise suspicion with those of a cautious mind. Yet if she doth speak the truth, it would lend credence to her hypothesis. Though, admittedly, some further. Not now, Ryongjae. Only just woke up. You don't want to bore her back to sleep. Damn, dude. In any case, I prefer to follow my instincts, and they're telling me that Gaia means us no harm. After much deliberation, I thought it only right to let her know about our working empty as a sign of goodwill. After all, trust works both ways. Though I would ask Kima not to let your guard down just yet. So you're the one I'm supposed to have fought? Come to think of it, I recognize you from somewhere. Yeah, her lips are just too, like, pulled out or something. Something about her is off. Maybe I just have one of those faces. Perhaps you just didn't make much of an impression, but to be honest, I do feel that since meeting you, those hazy memories are becoming slightly clearer. Like remembering fragments of a dream, when I realize those things actually happen. It's as though my whole life has been leading to this. Thou speakest as though thou didst expect these events. I guess you could say that. It's what the fairy tells me. Can't see it, but it is as though there was someone else inside me, and I can hear its voice in my head. It whispers to me and lets me use its power. Magic, I suppose you could call it. Not that I know much about that sort of thing. Its power alloweth thee to tear open the fabric betwixt realities, that thou mayest call forth the ether-starved denizens of what remaineth of the 13th. What? Was that supposed to mean something, or are you just spouting random words at me? Ah! Honestly, I don't know how you all put up with this. I've only just met him, and his insufferable prattle is already giving me a headache. God! I don't know if I like Gaia right now or not. Gods, I still can't believe I'm having this conversation. I think I was flying about in a suit of armor, waving a sword. Doesn't sound like me at all. Someone else inside you. Minfilia was inside me. The similarities cannot be ignored, but it is too early to say for certain. Gaia may well be the Oracle of Darkness. Oracle of Darkness? What does that mean? It means that you may have been right when you said she has something in common with itself. Those who have been used as a living host by an Ascian have no recollection of events that occurred during the possession. This I know from personal experience. But Gaia seems to have some memories still, even if they're just hazy. Moreover, she has remained in control of herself even when she heard the voice within, much like you in Minfilia. And though Reen was very much her own person, Minfilia's presence did exert a change upon her outward appearance, granting her hair and eyes a hue akin to that of our dearly departed friend. It is therefore not unthinkable that Gaia's raven locks may be a manifestation of darkness which hath come reside within her. But I was born like this, and my parents, they both had black hair too. Or at least I think they did. It's been so long since I saw them, I can't remember too well. But enough about me. You're in Philly, aren't you? The Loracleite who they were hosting in Yulmore? That's right, though imprisoning is a better word. Kept me locked away, and I didn't know much about Yulmore and its people, or the rest of the world for that matter. I see. And how exactly did the Oracle of Light come to run with the Warrior of Darkness? Well, it started when... Oh. She goes on a little chat. Yay. Actually, I don't need this light beside me at all. Yes, I still remember the day when everyone went to raving mad and Lord Vothry fled. Everything about that is a blur still, though. And what Gaius told me, she wasn't part of the mob that attacked us, but how was she able to resist Vothry's control? That line, instead. Mayhap 'twas the intervention of this fairy, of whom she speaketh. Curious as it may be, we still don't know why she appeared out of nowhere as soon as Eden took flight. This is just a guess, but I'd say that the fairy reacted to it in some way, and for whatever reason, made me go after it. Yes, that seems like the only explanation. I don't know about you lot, but I've had enough nattering. I'm going back to Eden. What? But why? Fairy wanted something from Eden, and knowing what that is will bring me a step closer to discovering what has been living in my head after all these years. Besides, memories aren't going to restore themselves, certainly not through idle chit-chat. So I'm going, and that's that. Gaia, wait! Insufferable. Utterly insufferable. But yet we can't let her leave on her own devices. Come on. Huh? She is Miss Large and in charge. On the definition of a, Dommy Goth Mommy, as they say. But she really does not take any crap. She's just like, alright, I'm doing this. And I am clearly the one in charge. Look at those clear skies. Oh, wait. Can't have gone far, especially not in those heels. Yeah, very dommy mommy. Get away from me. Gaia! Seems I have no choice. Yo! she dominate its will or something? Oh! Oh! Snap! Time bomb! What am I? Not sure what I just witnessed, but I'm glad she's unharmed. Powers befitting the Oracle of Darkness. When you fought Gaia, she opened void gates, yes? Back in the source, portals such as that were all too common, but tearing open the veil between the 1st and the 13th is a different matter entirely. You think, well, she's not a mind to turn that power against us. Now at least. A most fascinating application of ethereal manipulation. Destructive Blast did manifest a single span of time after the initial casting. With sufficient mastery of such technique, a second spell could be made to smite the target at precisely the same moment. While it would demand exceptional ethereal control, its tactical potential cannot be denied. Alright, Gaia, let's talk. What are you all gaping at? I don't mean to stare. It's not every day I see magic like that. So this is the power of the fairy you spoke of? Ever since I was a child, it has whispered to me, telling me what to do. That's how I can use its power. There are things I can't explain. Holes ripping in thin air, terrifying creatures crawling out, ghastly-looking blades and armor appearing out of nowhere. Worst of all is this dark energy that comes from inside. Its power. Feels as though it's only flowing through me and never truly mine. Even when it answers my call, it always takes a few moments for the spell to work. So in summary, you don't have control over the magic. Well, it's not as if I ever tried to control it. I haven't made a habit of fighting wild beasts. Unfortunately, it's part and parcel to travel through, it's part and parcel of traveling through Amaring. While I understand that you want answers, you're not going to find them unprepared as you are. If your heart is set on it, then we'll help you. Green, think about what you're saying. You're seriously considering taking Gaia to see Eden? There's no telling what might happen if she loses control again, so the safest option is for her to stay away until her work is done. Somewhere where we can keep an eye on her. You must realize it's for her own good. I must concur with Thancred's assessment. At present, we know precious little of Gaia's origin and less still of her powers. If she is indeed the Oracle of Darkness, her presence may complicate a task already fraught with peril, placing our mission and her own well-being in jeopardy. In full knowledge of the risks, dost thou still wish to pursue this course? I do. It wasn't so long ago that I was living in isolation, being held against my will. Maybe the people keeping an eye on me thought that was good for my own good, too. But if we shut Gaia away from our own conveniences, or for our own conveniences, we're no better than Vothri and Ranjit. I've learned that when someone is in need, we must reach out a helping hand, not push them away. Now it's my turn. To do for Gaia what all you've done for me. Even though the danger lies ahead, I won't choose the easy way out. This is the path I've chosen. Is that good enough for you? Ooh! I like green. Well, can't say fairer than that. How about you, Oriange? Light of the spirit doth burn bright. Mine apologies, my dear, but we felt it necessary to test thy resolve. Let it suffice to say that thou hast left no room for doubt. For what it's worth, Rain, I never doubted you. But make no mistake, the danger that Urianger and I speak of is all too real. If you're prepared to go through with this, we'll be right there beside you. It means a lot to me. Thank you. I couldn't care less who I traveled with, but if we're going to go, then let's get going already. There's supposed to be some sort of craft waiting at the southern watchtower, yes? Come along then, and don't be far behind. Interesting, lady. I was going the right way. Ah, worth every cent! So wait a minute, it doesn't do anything on the ascend up, but it does something when I descend down? Interesting. Why couldn't you leave this craft in Mortsuk instead of all the way out here? Actually, don't bother explaining. Whatever the reason is, I'm sure something frightfully uninteresting. Let's be about it, shall we? God! What an entitled little brat. Of course, I'm worried about what may happen when Guy gets close to Eason. We'll keep a close eye on her and make sure she's alright. Though circumstances hath changed, our mission most assuredly hath not. Restoring life to the empty remaineth our primary objective. Alright, Thancred. Might be a bit of a tight squeeze with the five of us, but we'll manage. Perhaps Orion J can sit on top of our luggage? Or Reen, she's small enough. Also, camera has gone out of whack. There we go. As usual, we should keep our sojourn here as brief as possible. Let's tend to business quickly. I had hoped during our absence that the rebalancing of ambient ether might work further changes. Alas, 'twas not to be. Everything seems fine here as far as I can tell. As for Gosh, he hasn't started attacking or anything yet, so I'll take that as a good sign. So there it is. Love the music. Eden. I'll find the answers I seek. The bringer of the flood, the first in-seater. Would it lead me to my past or my future? What awaited in the path ahead, I couldn't say. I had no choice but to take the first step. It's like a narration dialogue bubble instead of a standard. Like I said, I'm not the biggest fan of her model, but we'll see. Guy has lost some thought. She gazes towards the silent giant on the horizon. Know what it's like. It was the same for me. But I was lucky because Thancred freed me from Yulmore and had a chance to see the world. More importantly, though, I met all kinds of people and they taught me not to live in another shadow of itself. Maybe one day you'll have that chance too. Said your piece, have you? One day? What's that supposed to mean? I don't know how the great Oracle of Light sees such things, but for someone like me who's only known life in Mulmore, there is no tomorrow, there was no future, only the here and now. And while we waste time on these meaningless conversations, I feel each moment of my life slipping away. Time? It won't wait. Not for me, not for anyone. I don't know how much longer I can hold on to who I am. Sorry, Gaia. Gaia? It's probably not even my real name. It isn't? When Thancred asked me my name, I couldn't remember. That's when the fairy whispered to me, Gaia. But if you grew up in Yulmore, surely someone there must know who you are. Everyone I once knew had either disappeared or had been turned into sin-eaters. Those whose faces and names I still remembered, that is. In the end, we found not a single person who so much as recognized. As far as I can recall, I've never been the most sociable person, but still. Well then, if it's not your real name, I think Gaia sounds lovely. If you're happy with it, then that's what we'll call you. And if you're willing, instead of Orcolite, please call me Reen. It's not the name I was born with. That's long forgotten now. The one people whom I consider family gave it to me. Oh! Is that so? Well, as much as I'd love to keep up this chatting, there's something that's bothering me. I thought the fairy would have reacted to Eden in some way, but so far, nothing whatsoever. From what I gather, it wasn't until Eden started moving that I appeared out of the blue. That is an interesting texturing going on around her hair. Perhaps if you were to actually try to fly somewhere, the fairy might break its silence. If you've got elements to restore, or whatever it is, why don't you hurry up and get it over with? Jesus, woman. Ha! You need to learn some manners! And you need to stop wasting my time. Alright, everyone, I think we've talked for long enough. If you're ready, then let's make our way to Eden. This little prick of a chick needs to learn some respect. If this were my child, I would not tolerate it one bit. I don't care who you are. Thancred. Reen's a little chat with Gaia reminded me that for all our obvious differences, there are things that we have in common. I too grew up not knowing who my parents were. The day Louis Soir gave me the surname Waters was one I'll never forget. Years later, it was under more desperate circumstances that I gave a certain young girl the name Ophelia. Little did I know then that it would end up crossing time and space, taking on another meaning I could never have foreseen. It has come to be passed on to one girl after another, binding them to a fate not their own. In a sense, it may be said that I chose not only one, but two names for Reen. Whatever name she is called, she truly is her own person now. And as central to our lives as names are, I believe that isn't the name itself, but the bonds it symbolizes that matter the most. That's true. Done some reading about the land swallowed by the flood, but it's no easy task to find locations with a dominant element. I'm glad we have Urdion to point us in the right direction. Alright, prick chick, what's up? I'm nervous. I think they're slowly coming back to me. My mother and father... One more time. Stupid. My mother and father would constantly blather on about how the flood of light could return the end of the world... How the flood of light could return to end the world when we least expected it, that we should live each day as though it were our last. They would often say, I wish this moment would last forever. That was until they were selected for ascension by Lord Vothry and were never seen again. Since I had no other relatives or anyone close, or any close friends to speak of, I was left alone in the world. A past that hardly seemed worth remembering, does it? I'm sorry, Gaia, but you don't have any right to act like a spoiled brat. Following the initial changes wrought by the release of Water and Earth, the empty hath displayed no further signs of alteration. Stability, some may call this and be satisfied, but in truth it is passivity. A passivity stemming from the light's ever-pervasive presence. If we are to break the status quo, we must needs employ a catalyst, a third element that shall rouse and stabilize those unleashed energies and activity. Therefore, I propose lightning. So the primal would be Ramu, correct? From what I've heard, he's a guardian of the forest and not particularly keen on conflict, but you've actually fought him, haven't you? Ah! I spent most of my time chasing after orbs to varying success. I wonder if the sylphs had anything to do with that. I heard they can be quite mischievous, much like the pixies in Omeg. Well, I see our lessons have paid off. Well, it's like you say. If we want to call forth an accurate representation of Primal, I should picture it in my mind as clearly as possible. At the very least, it's worth a try. The rest is up to you, Akima. Ramu! In order for this to work, we need to actually fly somewhere, yes? So rather than sitting in one spot while we exchange anecdotes, why don't you get this blasted thing moving first? One must admit, the suggestion is not without merit. Green, might I suggest the Gandalf Thunder Plains as our next location? These plains, it is writ, were perpetually blanketed in storm clouds. The only source of illumination, the ceaseless barrage of lightning. Ambient ether that lingers there shall provide ideal conditions for summoning. Okay. That's where we're heading. Come on, Eden, we got a job to do. This should be a good spot as any. Alright, Akima, whenever you're ready. Memories are flash through your mind. Alright. Fulmination. Duty Finder updated. Alright. I don't think I've ever been anywhere like this before, and I'm not sure I want to go back. Drew to my liking. It'd be nice if our next destination is a little cheerier, but I suppose I can't exactly choose if I want answers. Darn right, so sit down and shut up. Even if Reen has done a good job memorizing my description of Ramu, it will likely make little difference to how he manifests. After all, it's your memories that shape the summoning, not hers. All the lightning that's fallen here over the years has left the ground covered in craters. Don't worry, Eden will give you something more even to stand on. The area is saturated with lightning-aspected ether. With this I'm able to confirm. In addition to the primal, be thou wary of stray bolts that may occur as a result of our activity. Fulmination! Oh, I can queue for all the savages now? Resurrection, Descent, Inundation, and Sepulture. Ooh, good to know, but frick that. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Excuse me. Alright, let's go ahead and while we're in queue for the DPS position, we'll go to fourth job and then work our way down. Go forward and back and then put one foot forward. The joys of being perpetually tired. This is why you should always go to bed at a good time. Something I've been failing to do for quite a while now. It's either the end of this pier here, which is... it is where we are going. Oh my goodness. You said the place is on the opposite shore, but I see nothing on the horizon save empty skies. Curious. Exarch said to prepare for a warm reception at the palace. Let's hope it's more cordial than his last visit. I was relieved to hear the Exarch intended to arrange a boat for us to carry us across the lake. Not that I'm opposed to swimming, mind you. Sure you're not. As I told you before, I had scarcely set foot on the palace grounds when I was set upon by our host's familiars, and I expect our reception today to be no different, which is why I propose we march through the main gate, weapons drawn. I'm sorry, but are we not here to petition for assistance? You can't honestly think barging in looking for a fight is going to persuade them. Actually, I believe the Exarch may have the right of it. They have no doubt poured a great deal of time and energy into their creations. Were I them, I should be more interested to meet with those who could overcome my defenses. As would any true seeker of knowledge, and there's little we can say or do to convince them to help us if we know nothing of their character, nor less why they chose to hide themselves from the world. But if we can seize their interest, maybe we can earn ourselves an audience. Weapons drawn it is, then. But I must say, Exarch, you seem to be enjoying all of this. Do I? I will not deny that I enjoy the thought of fighting alongside you all rather than pacing around inside the Crystal Tower. You both seem to be in rather high spirits if you ask me. Not that I'm surprised, your moods invariably improve whenever Akima is around. Ha ha ha! What exactly are you implying? She averted a calamity, and the light which seemed destined to consume her has been extinguished. It's only natural that we're pleased to see her. Yes, well, if you will have plenty of time to celebrate her good health after we've finished here. Of course, and let us proceed to the place. I'm just like, calm down, everybody. The Grand Cosmos is now accessible. That's queuing for another dungeon that I cannot do. Alright, we'll queue for that later. For now, I do want to try and check on something. Excuse me. Because supposedly there is a dungeon that can be done in the Tempest. Because I've seen some images of dungeons where some of the scientists or whatever from the Tempest, from specifically here, where they're running around and running away from something. So are there any blue quests around? No, actually. See if there are any other blue quests anywhere else. Oh. I apologize, everybody. This might be a shorter stream than normal. I am just very tired right now. Ooh, blue quest. But this is not what I'm looking for. Neither is that. There's a lot of 70 quests around here, but none are what I'm looking for. I know there's some other level 80 quests and level 80 dungeons, I just don't know how to get to them. So, for now, we're just gonna run around looking for what we can look for. Let's check the old Meg next. Ooh. Let's check here, just in case there might be no one. Ooh, blue quest. You know what? Let's just start doing blue quests. Seeing eye to eye. The ritual to which you bore witness requires no less than 2 petitioners of summoning the spirit of the wood, and they must be of one mind and one heart. Historically, it has been blood relatives who were chosen. If what you say is true, then not 1 but 2 spirits answer their call. It is a sign of disharmony between them. Until we discover the source, attempting the ritual could prove disastrous, but I fear the others will not be forthcoming with information were I to press the subjects. For our esteemed guest and ally Taronka, on the other hand, I believe they would be willing to speak freely. Would you speak with the people of the know and see if they know aught is troubling between Fina and Siwana? Or Siuna? Sure. More side quest stuff! We're gonna do Fulmination, then we'll do the other new dungeon we've gotten access to here, but first I have to do stuff to kind of kill the time, including repair my gear, because my goodness, I didn't realize I was running around with broken gear. Passiving Townsvi. I can only imagine one must be driving those two apart. Fina and Siuna? In all of Fano, I can think of no one closer. It is a little wonder why they chose to petition spirits of the woods. One moment. And on that fun note, I just lost all the text. Ah! Thankfully nothing important was going on in the chat window. So I am back. However, unfortunate news, I'm going to need to do this, and I'm going to need to get on later today because family needs help with stuff. So, incredibly short stream today. We're going to at least finish up the quests that are around here to figure out what's going on. I spoke with Fina not long ago. She heard that I was considering leaving Fano and wished to talk. It is a decision not to be made lightly, for we may never return once we leave. But now that you and your companions are here, I feel our duty has been fulfilled. I understand the ruins must be protected from the children, but what difference does one guard make? Fina shares my feelings on the matter and has also considered leaving. Oh. Okay, that might be what's going on. Also, never done. There we go. Knowledgeable townspeople, or townsvi. I speak with Siuna quite often, actually, about our history and duty to the late Emperor. We were once a nomadic people, so the legend says, but Ixmaya, in her boundless love, sought to bless us with a home, and so she appeared before the Emperor of Ronka in a dream and bade him to allow us into his kingdom. That is how we found our home and our purpose. Siuna is determined to protect both. Ah, so one sister looks to leave while the other looks to stay. So he is the gigantic metal son of a giant time robot. Okay. Turn this quest in real quick, and then I unfortunately need to call it. See. Fina yearns to explore the outside world, and Siuna would remain hidden from her. For as long as I can remember, they were inseparable. Fina's mirthfulness, tempered by Siuna's pragmatism. Never realized how such differences in principles could divide them so. Ah, speak of the twins, and they shall appear. We have finished with the altar. I gathered you have apprised Master Lanil of what has happened? Yep. We wish to apologize for... There is no need. However, were you to petition the spirits again, I suspect they would answer as they did before. Will not happen again, I swear. Please say you will let us try again. Yes, let us try one of our own and not this outsider. The summoning would have worked if it was not for her. Enough, Siuna. The problem lies not with our guest, but with you and your sister. You've been fighting over the future of the now, is that right? Family is not meant to agree on everything, but fail to respect your differences, and before long you will have no family at all. What would become of Fano if the others shared in your contempt for one another? You are to prepare for another petitioning of the spirits and expect you to come to terms before then. If the ritual is to succeed, you must find harmony. I apologize for burdening you further, but may I ask you to accompany them? Sure, I don't mind. We will make it work, I promise. I will leave you to your work then. Huh! Sure, you have a long day ahead of you. As do I. As do I. Alright. So, unfortunately, I am going to get things to work. One moment. Opa! I'm gonna have to call it there. Family has asked me to help out with some stuff really quickly. And normally I would stream much longer, as my past record has shown. But I will more than likely be on later tonight anyway to do dailies, so unfortunately this is going to be it for Shadowbringer's main story stuff for today. But I will be around today, later on, for just dailies, and then later on this week for other stuff. So until then, peace.